Hi, my name is Ariel Grostov, and here's my essay, Choosing Your Own Path. In an interview, John M. Chu, the director of Wicked, stated, "Maybe the yellow brick road is not for everybody. Maybe we have to make our own road, and we have to be our own wizard and make the world what we want." This statement challenges our traditional ideas about conformity and success. Chu suggests that fulfillment lies in forging our path, not following the previously paved roads of others. In his 2024 film Wicked, he brings this idea to life by portraying Elphaba as a protagonist who embraces her values and refuses to conform to traditional societal roles. Through Elphaba's rejection of authority, her refusal to conform to the opinions of the public, and her pursuit of self-direction, the film demonstrates that not everyone has to take the yellow brick road, and that creating your own path is often more beneficial and liberating in the long run. From the start of the story, it is clear that Elphaba is the outsider. Her green skin makes her a target for bullying, and her value-oriented personality gets her into conflict with those around her. Rather than seeking approval from her peers by altering who she is, Elphaba stayed true to herself. This is clearly shown at Shiz University, where Elphaba refused to hide her intelligence and stood up to others. A pivotal moment comes when Madame Morrible notices that Elphaba has excellent magical abilities. She offers Elphaba a chance to work for the wizard. At first she was grateful and was hopeful that this would be a great opportunity. However, learning about the wizard's deception and the way he controlled the people of Oz, Elphaba was crushed and refused to participate in his propaganda campaign. Rejecting the wizard's promise for power, this was Elphaba's first step off of the yellow brick road. This scene reveals the underlying values of the film, which shows the authentic leadership requires morals and integrity, not obedience. Elphaba's resistance to the wizard put her at odds with the laws that govern the land of Oz. The wizard rules the land of Oz not through wisdom, but through manipulation and deception. Although he rules this way, he is loved and respected by the people of Oz. When Elphaba refuses to support his policy and begins to speak out against the wizard in public, she is immediately branded as being wicked. The shift in the society's perception of Elphaba speaks to the assumption embedded in the land of Oz's culture. Anyone who does not comply is labeled as dangerous, broken, or evil, when in reality, Elpha's actions are guided by her own values, compassion, and compassion. But the public is told that she is a threat. One decisive moment is in the movie is when the wizard forces manufactured made-up stories about Elphaba kidnapping animals and plotting to destroy the land of Oz. This propaganda campaign is swift and effective, turning her into the scapegoat of society. This manipulation reveals the power that weaponized language, fear, and misinformation has when used by people in power. Elphaba's rejection of these lies with disregard for her safety and reputation is an excellent example of what it means to be your own wizard. She does not allow others to dictate who she is or how her story unfolds. Rather than internalizing society's judgment, she claims her own identity, even though she is hunted and made a villain. One of the most iconic scenes in the film that encapsulates Elphaba's transformation is her performance of Defying Gravity. This moment is both literally and metaphorically flight. Following the realization that the wizard's complete deception, and having her former allies no longer standing with her, Elphaba makes a bold choice to escape. Her declaration, "I'm through accepting limits 'cause someone says they are so," becomes a declaration that indicates a complete rejection of the life she envisioned living and embraces a new, scary, unknown path. The metaphor of flight represents her liberation, but also the loneliness and risk that comes with leaving the yellow brick road. Her friendship with Glenda also adds a step to this theme. Though they were once close friends, their choices sent them in different directions. Glinda chooses to stay in the land of Oz and work for change from the inside, while Elphaba decides to break free. Their goodbye is bittersweet but honest, showing that personal growth sometimes requires letting go of one of your best friends, allowing both characters to be portrayed with empathy. But it's Elphaba's strong independence that clearly shows the idea that we have the power to shape our own destiny, even if it means we are alone. In the end, Elphaba's journey redefines what it means to be wicked. Far from being evil, she is someone who refused to follow in society's norms. The film title is a commentary on how society's labels those who are different from the norm. Choose Direction encourages us to see beyond appearances and public narrative and see someone for their character. Elphaba never gains recognition or validation from society, but she gains much more valuable traits: self respect, authenticity, and freedom. She becomes her own wizard, not by placing herself above others, but by controlling her own identity and future. This film leaves us with a powerful lesson that sometimes the only way to live your own truth is to divert from what is accepted as the right path. The yellow brick road is shiny and well traveled, but it is not for everyone. People like Elphaba and those of us who see ourselves in her are not followers. We must create doubt, question, and rise above, even when the world would prefer we stay grounded. In this way, Wicked is not just the retelling of a classic story. It is a voice for those of us who are brave enough to make their own way. Okay, so that was my essay. I think I did a pretty good job on it. I tried using more advanced vocabulary and I tried developing better analysis throughout my essay. I do say that I still struggle with the flow. Some parts of it don't flow very well, but I think the content itself does give a good overall message to my thoughts on Chu's interview. Um, my transitions in this essay, I believe, were a little bit smoother. The essay felt a little bit more pieced together. I do think that some of my sentences were a bit long. I did have some run-ons and things of that nature, which I could work on in the future. And yeah, for this essay, I do believe I got an A. I think that that's what my work deserves. Um, I think it was really well written, and from other people reading it, they told me it was pretty good. Um, to reflect on my overall experience this quarter, I would say this has probably been my best quarter. Taking 19 units and TAing for two classes was a bit of a struggle, and maintaining grades alongside that was pretty difficult. Um, but overall, I think that this class was a very good. This class was very good because it allowed me to kind of step back from my other classes, which are more math heavy and accounting heavy. And it just kind of helped me de-stress in a way. It was kind of weird. Like homework isn't supposed to make you de-stress, but it kind of de-stressed me. It was weird. Um, I didn't particularly think any of the assignments were easy. Most of them were pretty medium to hard. Uh, the assignments I got most frustrated with were probably these essays because I'm not a big writer myself. Um, but yeah. To conclude, um, I think that I've developed a lot over this quarter. This is one of my first quarters at the Enzo where I'm on my way to a 4.0, which is very nice. Which is one of my goals this quarter was to bite off more than I can chew and still like be able to accomplish my goal. Um, I think my abilities have shifted, especially in writing. This course has definitely made me better at writing and has challenged me to think of new ways to think about literature and stories and how to break them down and interpret them in many different ways. And one challenge that I still think I face is honestly my essay writing skills. I do still think that I have room for improvement. And another challenge is that I'm not big on asking for help. So going to the tutor, thankfully, one of the tutors for the English department is one of my friends, Eric. So he kind of made it a little easier for me to go and reach out and ask for help. So yeah, that's all. Thank you.